Welcome to Super Bowl 58. My name is Andrew Erickson, aka the Props Prophet, and today I'm coming at you with my top 6 player props for the big game. It's the last game of the 2023 NFL season. Let's end it on a high note. But before we look to build those bankrolls heading into the NFL offseason, more importantly, March Madness season, you want a chance to win a premium 1-year subscription to BettingPros. Your place to start betting smarter and not harder. All you have to do, subscribe to the BettingPros YouTube channel right now. Comment below this video, and that is it. I'm announcing a winner right here on the channel. So make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Now, let's get to my top player prop bets for Super Bowl 58 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Leading off, Brock Purdy over 12.5 rushing yards, minus 108 over on FanDuel. Look, Brock Purdy added a new dimension to the running game in the NFC Championship game, notching 48 rushing yards on just 5 carries, highlighting his mobility and ability to escape pressure. 49ers quarterback has 14 or more rushing yards in both of his postseason starts, so I lean towards the over on his 12.5 rushing yards prop. The projections have Purdy slated for a whopping 14 rushing yards for the Super Bowl in the BettingPros prop bet cheat sheet. The Chiefs have faced the most rushing attempts and red zone touches from quarterbacks this season. They've allowed 3 of the last 4 quarterbacks they have faced to go over their rushing yards projection, including 25 rushing yards at least to each of the last 4 quarterbacks that they have faced. I also love dabbling in some anytime touchdown action for Brock Purdy, given he has the highest EV bet per the NFL anytime touchdown score prop research tool. It makes sense given how bad the Chiefs are at defending quarterbacks in the running game, especially around the red zone. Next up, Brandon Aiyuk under 4.5 receptions, minus 144 over on FanDuel. Look, Aiyuk made the most of his opportunities in the NFC Championship game, turning 3 receptions into 68 yards, including a long of 51 for a touchdown, demonstrating his big play capability and focus on a ball that was tipped in the air and hit a defensive back in the face. Still, Aiyuk saw 8 targets for a 27% target share with a whopping 134 air yards. Look, Brandon Aiyuk is always a candidate to post massive yardage totals at any point in a game, but he doesn't always rack up a ton of catches. He only has caught 3 passes for 3 straight weeks, and the Chiefs have allowed the 6th fewest completions to wide receivers this season. I hate taking the under on a guy that's super talented like Brandon Aiyuk, but he's more likely to beat us in yardage than total catches with a tough projected matchup against the Chiefs' shutdown cornerback, L'Jarius Sneed. It's definitely more of a Deebo Samuel game than a Brandon Aiyuk game against Kansas City. Next up here, going to the Chiefs offense, Isaiah Peko over 65.5 rushing yards, minus 115 over on BetMGM. Look, the Chiefs want to run the football, and I expect Isaiah Peko to get fed as a rusher. So I'm looking at the over on his 65.5 rushing yards prop for Super Bowl Sunday. Peko has 89 plus rushing yards in 3 of his last 4 games and 60 or more in 7 of his last 9 games played. He's going to have to rip off some explosive runs against a defense that has been traditionally stout versus the run for the most of the season, just not recently. Because over the last 2 games, the 49ers have allowed over 100 rushing yards per game to opposing running backs between Aaron Jones and David Montgomery. Given how leaky they've been against explosive rushes, even when they faced James Conner a few weeks ago as well, the team with the Chiefs feeding Peko so much, I think the move is the over on the Chiefs running back for Super Bowl 58. Peko has gone over 60.5 carries in 3 of his last 4 games and half of his last 10 contests. So although the 49ers season long have been good against the run, how they've performed recently to me is telling me, hey, this is going to be a big Peko game, and maybe it's not outlandish to think that Peko could come home with a Super Bowl MVP. Next up here, we're going to go to the quarterback position. Patrick Mahomes under 26.5 rushing yards, minus 110 over on FanDuel. Now, if we think Peko is going to do the majority of the damage in a game that I think the Chiefs will probably end up winning, I don't think we're going to see Mahomes scramble nearly as much. So even though many project Mahomes to soar over his rushing yards in the Super Bowl, I just don't think that the 49ers are going to make that happen based on how they don't allow a lot of rushing production to quarterbacks. The 49ers blitz at the 3rd lowest rate in the NFL. Therefore, you're not going to see Mahomes needing to scramble nearly as much. 8 of the last 10 quarterbacks the 49ers have played have gone under their rushing yards projection. Mahomes is under 26.5 rushing yards in the last 2 playoff games. He's also gone under this number in 5 of his last 7 postseason games played. So again, This number is really more about his average of what he's done in the postseason, but just based on the matchup and what we've seen more recently from Patrick Mahomes, I think he's going to go under 26.5 rushing yards against the 49ers defense that just does not blitz nearly as much as some of his other teams he's faced. Sticking with Mahomes, number 5 here, Patrick Mahomes anytime touchdown at plus 400 FanDuel. Look, you got to dabble in some anytime touchdown action. It is the Super Bowl after all, and I refuse, folks, to miss out on Patrick Mahomes' first touchdown of the 2023 NFL season. You heard that correct. Patrick Mahomes has still not scored yet this season. It's his first season as a starter that he's failed to score a touchdown at any point during the regular or following postseason. Considering the lack of supporting cast around the Chiefs quarterback overall, outside of Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, and his running backs, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do more on his own, especially near the red zone. Again, he does scramble more in the postseason compared to the regular season. So even though we like the under on his rushing yards prop, he's still more likely to take off and run near the goal line as opposed to trying to find that check down option. We saw in the AFC Championship game, he scrambled from the 10-yard line. He scrambled inside the goal line, inside the red zone when he faced the Dolphins a couple weeks ago as well. So I think that just based on regression, look, no player has combined more red zone and rushing attempts than Mahomes does without a touchdown score yet this season. And that's based on the Fantasy Pros first touchdown score report. Look, the last time that these teams played in the Super Bowl, 2019, he scored the first rushing touchdown of the game. Let's go, Patrick Mahomes. Anytime touchdown. Let's make it happen and celebrate very early on this Sunday. Last but not least, we're going to hyper focus on the Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. Over 72.5 receiving yards. This one's minus 110 over on FanDuel. Look, folks, we don't need to sugarcoat this. Travis Kelce is on an absolute heater right now. 3 straight games of 70-plus receiving yards. And given how great and consistent he has been in the postseason, it's hard to imagine him not going over 72 receiving yards in his 4th straight game in the Super Bowl. 12 straight playoff games he has played with at least 71 receiving yards. He has saved his best for last. And that's why my favorite Super Bowl bet for MVP is for Travis Kelce to take home the award at 17-1 odds on FanDuel. Look, I like the under in this game overall at 47.5, and that correlates with a non-quarterback winning Super Bowl MVP. The last 4 unders in the Super Bowl have been in games where quarterbacks did not win the Super Bowl MVP award. This is a narrative award. We don't have to go far to find narratives backing Travis Kelce. It's his potential last game with him rumored to be bowling for some retirement, where he can make the case as the greatest tight end of all time. Kelce would be the first tight end ever to take home the Super Bowl MVP award. Mahomes already has 2 Super Bowl MVPs under his belt, and we know the Swifties are going to be pushing and voting hard for Travis Kelce to win MVP. The last dynasty we saw during the Tom Brady era saw 2 wide receivers win Super Bowl MVP after Brady had accumulated some Super Bowl MVPs as well. So I just think that with Mahomes, he doesn't need to put up a crazy statistical game here. He has 1 game this year with 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. Just 2 games with 3 passing touchdowns. If Kelce goes for 100 and 1 touchdown in a lower scoring game with a so-so performance from Patrick Mahomes, where the Chiefs defense is really the story of the game, Kelce can win this award at 17-1 odds. And that's going to tie a bow on my favorite player props for Super Bowl 58. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. And be sure to follow me over on the Betting Pros app to check out all of my best bets. Tail them, fade them, do whatever you feel is right for the big game. Make sure you join the Betting Pros Big Game Super Bowl contest. Takes just 5 bets. You can be entered to win some prizes. So go check that out as well over at bettingpros.com. And again, before you go, if you want a chance to win a premium 1-year subscription to Betting Pros, your place to start betting smarter and not harder. All you have to do is subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that is it. We're announcing a winner right here on the channel. So make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the big game in Super Bowl 58.